recorded. All votes will be taken by roll call vote. And again, we're having some technical difficulties, but we will be working to resolve them as quickly as possible. So I would like to entertain a motion to move into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Purpose 3, to consider strategy with respect to negotiations with the fire union, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Purpose 6, to consider the purchase, lease, sale, or value of real estate in relation to properties in the vicinity of Town Hall and South Street and parcels owned by Umina off Chestnut Street, because an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the board. Approval of executive session minutes to allow Norman Khumalo and Elaine Lazarus to participate in the executive session, and then to reconvene an open session at the conclusion of the executive session. So we have enough members in the meeting room to take the roll call vote.
So moved.
Yep.
Second.
So by roll call,
Mary Jo Lefreniere, yes. And Mary Bush, yes.
Muriel Kramer, yes. So hopefully we'll have, do they have a Google Meets for the?
The screen is here, but not in there.
But not in there.
We'll use the computer.
Okay,
But do they
all
have the
right.
link?
So we're going to also have technical difficulties, which we will resolve to get them into the executive session. Okay.
Do they have the Google Meet link, though? Did we send them?
All set? Welcome back to the open session. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let me just make sure. We do have one member participating remotely. Irfan, can you hear us?
He is muted at the moment.
Irfan?
Switching over can be difficult.
Okay, we're still experiencing technical difficulties with the Zoom. Can
Oh, same issue. He says he's having the same issue going on with the Zoom as before.
say it again?
He says he's having the same issue with the Zoom as before.
Okay, same issue as before. We think it should be fixed, Irfan. To which Irfan said,
Can you hear me?
Yes,
I can't see you. but-
yay!
Excellent, excellent. I can't see anything, but I can hear you.
Okay, so it's not perfect, but we have some Zoom connection. Okay. All right, the first order of business, or the first item on the agenda, is public forum. Residents are invited to share ideas, opinions, or ask questions regarding town government. We ask people to limit their comments to 2 minutes. Is anybody here to make public comment? Okay, come on forward, Dale. And you too, Jean? Okay. And is Irfan the only one on Zoom?
The Zuda is on Zoom.
Oh, the Zoom is on Zoom.
I'll bring it raised.
Okay. Yes, please introduce yourself and your address.
Dale Danahy, 25 East Main Street, and I'm here tonight to ask why the funding criteria for the 50 bibs that the BAA gives to town has changed so dramatically. The runners have always been asked to raise $5,000 for nonprofits, and the select board chooses, but now it's increased by 2.5 times to $12,000 they're required to raise. I looked at the BAA's website, and they still only require $5,000 to be raised for charity bibs. And then I looked at the 42 official charities on the same website and checked their criteria. Only one charity requires $12,000. Some ask for $7,500, $5,000, and even $10,000. Most of the websites have been closed because they've been already awarded their bibs to their runners, yet we haven't even had our lottery yet for the bibs in Hopkinton. I don't understand why that is. And I'm not sure how we can compete against national charities like the American Red Cross, Children's Hospital, Dana-Farber, the Hoyt Foundation, to name a few, to get runners to, say, run for the public library or Family Day celebration when we ask them to raise anywhere from $2,000 to $4,500 more. Our runner for the Friends of Hopkinton pulled out when I told her she needed to now raise $12,000 instead of $5,000. I'd like you to please reconsider going back to $5,000.
I think we haven't
I'm not
voted.
voted on this. Yeah.
But it's on the website. It's $12,000.
We have not posted the request for invitational entries. And in fact, the town only received the invitational entries on Monday, this past Monday. And we were in a meeting with the BAA last week. They indicated to us that they had not shared the entries with any other town.
So no other town has it, but all the charities have them.
I can't speak to that.
Yeah, no, they have, because they've closed out. So, yeah, it was listed, actually, I have it right here.
Well, we're going to talk about it tonight, Dale. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to make sure I gave you the information if you didn't stay, but we're going to talk about it later on tonight's agenda.
Yeah, it's under the, right now, on the Town of Hopkinton Boston Marathon Invitational Entry Program Policy, it says 12,000. So on the Hopkinton, it's right here, $12,000. So that's where I got it from, and I was afraid it was raised so much, we can't.
Wouldn't get somebody. I appreciate your feedback, truly.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Jean?
Hi, thank you. I'm Jean Birchman, 4 Cider Mill Road, and I'm here for the same reason. As a board member of a lot of local nonprofits that have benefited from this program and the executive director of another nonprofit that hopes to apply and participates in other races of this sort, I really encourage you to just go back to the $5,000 requirement that the BAA has. I think you already heard from Dale's experience. I think what's going to happen is that the local charities are going to lose theirs because that number is just way out of their reach. Every charity has the ability to raise their own minimum to whatever level they want, as long as it exceeds, the minimum is the $5,000, and that's what Dale just described to you on their website. I went down that same rabbit hole today. And the charities that raise their minimum to $7,500, $10,000, $12,000 are charities like TB12 or the Heron Project, where you get to meet Tom Brady and they give you a VIP bus and all kinds of perks that are just way beyond the capacity of our local nonprofits. So, I mean, this is a tremendous opportunity for nonprofits, but to lose a runner and not raise the $5,000 is a huge hit to their budget. I think maybe they can sell them to people who will travel internationally and just pay that price, but that's unlikely, and they don't have those networks. So, again, any charity in Hopkinton that wants to raise it above the $5,000 continues to have that ability, just as they always have. But for the town to require that is really going to be to the detriment of their ability to find runners and raise.
Okay. Thanks, Jean.
I just want people to realize we have not set a fee. I don't know how or where it came from, but we did not set a fee.
Mary Jo, did you want to say something in public comment?
Yes, I did, as a matter of fact. We had a former member of this board who passed away, and he was a lifelong member of the town, went to West Point, and was involved in many, many town activities. And he also had a program with HCAM for veterans, where he would interview all the veterans and they could talk about their time in the service and what they did and how they did it. And he made really great contributions to the veterans, the Board of Selectmen, the town in general, and he is missed, and his name is Dickie Gooding, or Dick Gooding, and he a great, great, great member of the town.
Thanks for that, Mary Jo. Okay, the first item of business is the consent agenda. We'll consider, probably better off of this, we'll consider the minutes of October 26th, accepting gifts, a $200 donation to the public library from the Women's Club for the purchase of financial planning books for women. The Select Board and Marathon Fund request applications for $3,017 requested by the Hopkinton track and cross country teams to buy a tent to be used at away and invitational meets. $4,536 requested by the Hopkinton High School track teams winter and spring to purchase 8 new starting blocks and a storage cart to hold the blocks. And also to accept the resignation with appreciation and regrets from the Select Board. There's a resignation from Navdeep Arora from the Planning Board. Does anybody want to split anything out?
I don't think so.
You want to make the motion?
That used to be in the ones.
I know.
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as read.
And so by roll call vote, Mary Jo?
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Amy Rodebush, yes.
Muriel Kramer, yes. Irfan?
Irfan Nasrallah, yes.
Okay, great, thank you. Next on the agenda is the tax classification hearing. Buckle up, here we go.
Go to the PowerPoint. So good evening. My name is John Neese. I am the principal assessor, and with me is Deputy Assessor Renee Chen. You have the tax classification letter and the PowerPoint in your packet of documents, so I am going to move quickly. I would like to just take a minute to recognize the Board of Assessors, Leslie Ficari, Adam Monroe, and Peter Mimo for their work all year long. Without them, there would be no action on abatements, chapter land applications, exemptions, motor vehicle commitments, many other items, and no tax rate. So let's begin. And again, I'm going to move quickly. Please feel free to interrupt me if you would like. And I will be posting the classification letter and the PowerPoint to the website in the next few days for the residents. So if we could go to the next slide. These are the decisions that you will be making at the end of the presentation tonight. So we can move to the next one. And again, you've had all of this information if you had a chance to look at it, so rather than take too much time. This slide just gives a history of property value increase for the major classes of property over the last 5 years. The next one. This lists the top 10 taxpayers in the town of Hopkinton for fiscal year 24. Next. So this is a summary of our valuation results, and again, I'm not going to read through this. All of this information is from the classification letter that we prepared for you, so that's just a summary of that information. If we go to the next one. I just wanted to mention that fiscal year 24 is a unique year in Hopkinton. We have what's called an interim year for 4 years, and then every 5th year it's a certification year. It puts us under an intensive review by the Department of Revenue. We did receive our preliminary certification. After that, we do a public disclosure. We do this notebook both in print and on the town website, which lists all of the properties in town and all of the values so that the residents can take a look at that information. Then we receive our final certification from the Department of Revenue, and then we publish a notice in the newspaper for tonight's classification hearing. Next one. So this is the proposed tax rate at this point for the town, $14.56 for commercial, industrial, and personal property, $14.57 for residential property because of the means-tested circuit breaker senior exemption. And these rates are subject to change by the Bureau of Accounts when they do their final review. Next. This is just a little slide to remind everyone that the assessor does not set the tax rate. We value all of the property in town, and then the tax rate is really set by the functions of town government and town meeting. And next, we then have a tax levy that we need to raise. That is very simply divided by the total value of the town, both real and personal property for fiscal year 24, and that comes out to the proposed rate at this point of $14.56. Next. And these are just some of the reasons that property values can either increase or decrease in value from one year to the next. And we'll continue. So this just shows you the average assessment and the average tax bill for fiscal year 24 for a single family, a residential condominium, a commercial property, and an industrial property. Next. And this is just to show you that we do try and help anyone that we can, any of our seniors or any of our veterans. This is just a form that we need to file with the Department of Revenue. And at the very bottom, it shows that we did grant 72 exemptions over the course of last year for a little more than $138,000.
Can I just ask a quick question for residents who might wonder about that? How does that process, just briefly, how do people exchange with that process?
Renee handles the exemptions, so she's a good one to just answer that question, I think.
So folks can come see me over at downstairs in the treasurer's office. We have several different programs that are available. Some of them are income-based, some of them are income and asset-based, and some of them are status-based, like for our veterans. People can apply anytime once the fiscal year starts through April 1st of the fiscal year. And there's a statutory exemption, there's a CPA, Community Preservation Act exemption, and there are several veterans exemptions, as well as one for the blind and disabled as well. So, and please, tell people, feel free to come by and see me, and I'm happy to explain.
Great, thank you.
And just as an aside, we do publish a notebook every year, which is about this thick, and we provide that to the Senior Center, and it lists all of those different exemptions and the requirements for all of those. We have run programs at the Senior Center to try and make people aware of them. We do have information online, and we automatically will send an application out to everyone who received an exemption in the previous year to sort of get them started in the process.
Great, thank you.
If we go back to the PowerPoint, next slide. This is just general statistics for fiscal year 24 that shows the percentage increase in value for our single families, condominiums, commercial, and industrial property. If we go to the next one, I just want everyone to be aware, this is just a sample street in Hopkinton, and even though the previous slide showed you what the general statistics were for those classes of property, on this particular street, you will see a number of properties listed, the percentage difference, and the average percentage difference in this sample alone is 15%. These are all single families, and yet you'll see the range of the percentage differences in this sample again go from 11% to 30%. So some properties might increase in value at a different rate than others depending on additions or renovations or any number of factors. Next. These are just some statistics from the Warren Group. I don't know how many years we have here, 10 or 12 or something, but just to give you an idea of the increase in the median sale price of a single-family property in Hopkinton over that period of time. The next one. This is a sample on single families in Hopkinton in terms of their average assessed value over a similar period of time. And next. And these are the classification letters that you're going to be voting on next. And again, I'm not going to read through these. These were provided to you previously. I'm happy to take any questions you might have. But the residential factor really relates to whether or not you're going to have a single rate or a split rate. The next slide is the open space discount and the residential exemption. And then the last slide, or the next slide, is a small commercial exemption. So I don't know if we could go to the last slide, but I don't know if you want me to pause for a minute to see if there are any public comments.
Yeah, so definitely. First, we'll go to the board for questions, if that's okay, and then open it up to the public if the public has questions. Irfan, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Mary Jo?
No. I don't.
I don't either. I hope, because we do have a lot of information and we do this every year, so I hope it's clear to the public.
Yeah, but you have to keep up. And I appreciate a sprightly walk through the PowerPoint. I do. I have a general question. When we consider, for example, the residential factor, the open space discount, the residential exemption, or a small commercial exemption, are those standard every year, or do they come up some? I see you nodding. They're standard questions each year.
You need to vote on each one of these items each and every year, and you have done that in the past.
Okay. Okay. So, go ahead.
So what was our tax rate last year, our residential tax rate?
$15.81.
Okay, so the rate is actually slightly lower.
Yes.
Okay, so yay.
Yeah, no, nobody's tax bill is going down.
Nobody's tax bill is going down.
Right, so that's
our values all went up.
The values all went up, and so the rate is able to come down, but the bills are not happening, and then...
Kind of how it works, yes.
Yeah, I understand. Okay. So just for the public's edification, we have never imposed the residential factor, the open space discount, the residential exemption, or the small commercial exemption in Hopkinton. Is that correct?
That is correct. You have
Okay.
had an open space discount, a residential exemption, or a small commercial exemption. And again, these are all choices for you to make, not for the Board of Assessors to make.
Yep.
But you've also not had a split tax rate in the
Right.
10 years that I've been here, but
20 years that I've been paying attention. Okay. Do we have any questions from the public? Wow. Okay. I don't think anybody but Irfan. Yeah, go ahead. Is there a last slide?
Oh, it was on up there.
Ben, do you have the last slide? Yes.
Yeah, it's coming. Okay.
here we go.
All right.
So number 1 and number 5 are really related. So if you vote a residential factor, then that's basically a split tax rate. So I would suggest you start with number 2, and you need to move to either implement or not implement an open space discount. I will tell you that's really a moot point, even though you need to vote on it. We have a lot of open space in Hopkinton, but we don't have any open space in Hopkinton that is coded Land Use Code 201, which is specifically what this refers to. There was only one community in the Commonwealth, Bedford, that previously had a 25% discount for their open space, but they no longer have that either. So
What is the
there is no one in the
201? What's the 201 signifier?
201 is a specific land use code provided by the Department of Revenue if we use that for any type of open space. We do have open space, but we put ours into what's called a Neighborhood K open space so that you wouldn't be voting a discount for open space here.
Okay. All right. Would anybody like to take the honors on the motions?
Yep, so I would move, or do we have the longer wording? Or can we-
No, that's the same.
Okay,
Yep.
so I would move not to implement an open space discount for 2024.
I second.
Second.
Okay. By roll call vote, Irfan?
Irfan Nasrullah, yes.
Mary Jo?
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Amy Rotobush, yes.
Muriel Kramer, yes. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I would move not to implement a residential exemption for 20.
You can continue. You don't need me for 3, 4, or 5, so you can just make a motion on what you would like to do.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
But you need to have another vote on each one of those.
Yep.
I mean, what I meant was I don't think you need me to read them to you, so.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, we're good.
So I would move not to implement a residential exemption for 2024.
Second.
By roll call vote, Irfan?
Irfan Nasrullah, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Amy Rotobush, yes.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
I would move to not implement a small commercial exemption for 2024.
Second.
By roll call vote, Irfan?
Irfan Nasrullah, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Amy Rotobush, yes.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
And I guess I'll go back to number 1 here. I will move not to implement a residential factor for 2024.
Second.
By roll call vote, Irfan?
Irfan Nasrullah, yes.
Mary Jo?
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Amy Rotobush, yes.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
And I would move to implement a single tax rate for 2024.
Second.
And by roll call vote, Irfan?
Irfan Nasrullah, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Amy Rotobush, yes.
Muriel Kramer, yes.
And I would move to approve the Form LA5 as presented.
Second.
By roll call vote, Irfan?
Irfan Nasrullah, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Amy Rotobush, yes.
Muriel Kramer, yes. Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And just so you know, Elaine is going to pass out to you a copy of the LA5, which shows the excess levy capacity.
Yep.
It used to be that you had to sign it, but you no longer have to do that. It's signed electronically now by the town clerk and by the Board of Assessors.
Okay, by who? The Board of Assessors?
Board of Assessors and the town clerk.
Great, thank you. All right, we are now going to consider town employee appointments. Come on forward, Ms. Casey. At all, at everybody? Okay, perfect.
Okay, these are happy moments. I should mention Lori has been working for the town for a while now, and she has decided to shift from the first floor to the third floor. Been left out on the second floor.
But I can come back and say.
Okay, good. Yeah, Lori will be joining the Land Use Planning and Permitting Office as the administrative assistant. This position provides skilled administrative and clerical work, covering various types of support to the daily operations of the department. She also will be working collaboratively with other administrative assistants in the office, and this work really requires not just collaboration but tact, discretion, flexibility, and I think, as you've demonstrated on the first floor, excellent customer service.
Wonderful.
And in terms of her relevant experience, as I said, you've worked with us in the finance department. You also worked for account matters in Bellingham, Milford Regional Medical Center, EMC Corporation. And in fact, what you've gained throughout your career are the following competencies: customer service, payment processing, office administration, process improvements, and dealing with customers who need the extra support. And so we're very excited that, again, you're staying with the town, shifting from the first floor to the third floor.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions?
No, I just want to say I'm going to miss Lori on the first floor. She was a real asset to that first window and first face anybody saw coming into the town hall. Always had a smile, always had a wave. She was good at waving and was extremely nice to all of our customers, who I for one, appreciated it very much.
I enjoyed everybody coming through. The construction workers, it was a lot, but it was okay.
But I'll miss you up here. Congratulations.
So we'll take the elevator, you can come up and see us.
Okay.
I don't really have any questions. Like, you've worked here before, so that's a great, that you like the atmosphere and everyone here knows you. So I think it sounds like a great fit. I'm sure they'll be happy to have you in land use. It's very busy up there, I know.
It's a happening spot up there at land use.
Can't go any higher than the third floor, though.
Well, not here, and the third floor is good. Just,
It is good.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep. Irfan, do you have any questions?
No questions, just small comments. I just love seeing advancement within the town. And, you've been working here, and I'd like to see people moving up. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I ditto all of that, right? It's wonderful to see you here and to see you stay and to see you grow within the town organization. So we really appreciate that all is happening, and it speaks highly of the culture here, and it speaks highly of you as well. So congratulations.
Great team.
I'll entertain a motion on the appointment.
So I would move to confirm the town manager's appointment of Lori St. John as Administrative Assistant, Land Use Department.
Second.
And by roll call vote, Irfan?
Irfan Nasrullah, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Amy Rodenbush, yes.
Muriel Kramer, yes. Congratulations.
We have 3 tonight, so we do photo at the end.
Yeah, we'll have a big group photo at the end, maybe.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And next is Maureen McKeon.
Okay.
And again, another pleasant story.
Oh, Maureen. Got
Yes.
right church, wrong pew.
As a small town, when we attract employees from cities, it makes us feel good. It says a lot about our community, Hopkinton. Maureen, I'm respectfully requesting that the board affirm or confirm the town manager's appointment of Maureen as the town's next procurement and grants manager. What does this position do? This role directs the day-to-day operations of the town's procurement and grant operations, including achieving large-scale savings and revenue opportunities for the community. The work involves devising grant and procurement sourcing strategies, implementing creative, cost-effective procurement processes, and ensuring that all town departments, board, committees, and contractors comply with all applicable laws. The role involves working alongside the senior accounting manager, senior leaders, in helping them put together grant applications. You have worked most recently for the City of Worcester, also worked for the City of Framingham and the Town of Stowe. You have a Bachelor of Arts degree in English, and when we spoke with your references, they described you as someone who is adept at juggling multiple tasks, responsibilities, and that you do so calmly, with a smile and a friendly demeanor. Another reference said that you work well both independently and as part of a team. We also learned from your references that you are a great representative of municipal staff. I am always looking for individuals who will advocate for public service, attract more talent to local government, and I believe in you. We have a strategic partner. And so at this point, we'll take questions from the board.
All right, welcome. Anybody have any questions up here?
It's a much-needed position, and it's a big one, so a lot will be expected of you.
Thank you.
But welcome.
Procurement is, I've realized, purchasing can save so much money for any community.
Let's hope.
Yes.
And I personally am that kind of person where I watch my pennies and see where things go, so it just makes sense to carry that over for a town, and I never felt like, oh, it's the town's money, it's my money. So hopefully it'll be helpful.
Thank you for stepping forward.
I'll just echo what Mary Jo said. We really do have a need for the grants applications, and we're always looking for, because we have kind of a tight budget, always looking for ways we can get grants to help fulfill some of the needs for cultural council, Commission on Disability, and things like that. So we're very glad to have someone in the...
I find myself in my spare time like looking at all the grants. I don't know why, just all the arts grants and things like that. It's interesting.
That's great, and that's what we really need, is to see what grants might fit for us. Yeah.
Right.
Your resume and references look great, and we had those in our packet.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry. Irfan, do you have any questions?
So no questions. Again, just a couple comments. It sounds as though you have a tremendous experience, and the city experience also in grant procurement is invaluable. You're filling some shoes of a person who was well loved and did a great job. I'm sure you're up to it. So looking forward to seeing you around town.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. That's one good thing that comes with the years. Lots of experience.
Yeah.
I think one of my best roles was in the selectman's office. I was having flashbacks with the tax rate vote.
Do that every year.
You saw how everything came together in that role.
Flashbacks, PTSD, no.
Some nights.
So welcome. So it is wonderful to have you here. I actually was born and brought up in Worcester, so it's kind of fun always to get a little reminder that Worcester's out there on the map and so forth. So we're glad to have you. Just for the public, tell us what about Hopkinton attracted you or the role?
Well, it was interesting when you mentioned the big cities that I worked for. And originally I worked for the town of Stowe and really enjoyed that community. Found a position in the Conservation Commission, which was very interesting, part-time. Learned a lot of terminology and how to take minutes. And then that morphed into a position in the Selectman's office. And so the small town feel I really enjoy. And as our town administrator was retiring, he knew someone needed to be MCPPO. So he said, "Are you interested?" And I said, "Sir, I love taking classes." So at that time, we had to go into Boston and do all the training. So that's how the procurement piece came into it. And I just found that so interesting. But I was always, pulled away by town meeting and everything. And I never felt that there was enough purchasing done, but there's never sometimes enough time to make all of that happen. So that's how I came into that. And then as Framingham was morphing from a town into a city, I thought that would be interesting. And a colleague reached out and I said, "Well, I'm not really looking, but okay." So that was a great thing to learn. And then Worcester came up the same way, and I thought I really like the procurement, the purchasing piece of it. So that was full on. We approved recs and things like that, but it was all big projects and little projects and continuing contracts that we took care of. So I learned a lot there. Yeah. That was very interesting. But I think I'm a small town girl.
Well, it's wonderful to have you, and your recommendations and so forth are terrific. And I think procurement is one of those things that it's so important that it's done right, and you don't hear very much about it unless, of course, it's not done right. So we're very glad to have you, and we wish you luck, and we welcome you to Hopkins.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to the experience.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I would move to confirm the town manager's appointment of Maureen McCain as procurement and grants manager.
Second.
By roll call vote, Irfan?
Irfan Asula, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Amy Rodebush, yes.
Muriel Kramer, yes. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all. Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Next one, I don't know whether to be happy or... I'm definitely happy, Holly. But...
In fact, I'm not so sure if I'm going to be run out of town. I think it's a cutting I've seen to steal from the schools. Holly Morand, she is coming to us coming from the school committee. I hope this is the last time I say this. Again, we're so happy to have you here. She is joining us as the Resource Counselor Case Manager in the Youth and Family Services Department. As you may recall, this is a relatively new role in the department and a very critical one for that matter. The role's key responsibility is to enhance equity for residents through the provision of community outreach and case management services. Services will focus on individuals furthest from opportunity and those for whom traditional social service systems and programs are not accessible. Our goal here in pushing forth this position and happily now going to be staffing it with Holly is to strengthen the behavioral health of preschool and elementary age youth while ensuring all children, teens, and families in the community have access to needed services, resulting in successful and engaged residents. Holly comes to us having worked for Brigham and Women's Hospital, the Mentor Network, You, Inc., Community Impact, and also, happily, she did work with us when she was doing her Master's in Social Work internship under Dennis Hildreth. She has a Bachelor in Chemistry, minor in Philosophy, Master's in Social Work, doctoral candidate in behavioral health, anticipated graduation, December of 2023. Your references told us that you have exceptional, phenomenal engagement skills, and you make connections easily. Very relaxed professional, good with boundaries, and authentic as a partner in your day-to-day work. We also learned that you leave no stone unturned. And we've seen that, in your work.
Some people like that better than others.
Yeah, we've had lengthy, very productive budget discussions with you.
Yeah.
And so I am respectfully requesting that the board confirm the town manager's appointment of Holly Morand as our first resource counselor case manager.
Thank you.
Awesome. How about any questions?
I hate to lose one on one department and go to another department, but I think this is a vital and necessary department and a very important position to fill. And so I'm glad to see you here, but I will miss you on the other board. If you are resigning, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a state ethics.
You can't do both at the same time, I realize
It's the whole
that. So.
ethics.
Yeah, I called the state ethics board and asked them about it.
So I'm glad to have you here.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Mary Jo.
I had a question along those lines, though, too. Will you be able to stay on Commission on Disability, or will you have to resign all the positions?
No, I can stay on the disability commission.
elected
Because it's not like directly connected to the work.
Great. Well, anyway, I know we're sad to lose you on school committee, but this seems like a very good fit for
Yeah.
for the department here for you.
Thank you.
Family Services. So we think we're glad to have you back.
Irfan?
Sounds like a perfect fit. It fits like a glove. Really excited to have you. I'm going to echo what everyone else is saying, that, your loss in the school committee is it's going to hurt, but I think this is a fantastic opportunity, and I think you're the perfect candidate for it. So, congrats.
Thank you.
So I don't really have a question either. I'm a social worker myself, and I can remember before I knew you interacting a little bit with your work online through social media in a very positive, forward-thinking, assertive way for someone who posted for somebody in need in town. And I remember thinking how incredibly responsive and respectful and effective you were in that moment, which I really appreciated sort of seeing and being part of. And I know that I have also seen you in your work. You're incredibly thorough in the way that you investigate what you need to know about a certain situation and how you share it. And I really appreciate that. I think that, yes, we're very sorry to see you go from the school committee, but I think that you're uniquely, incredibly, impeccably suited to the very vital work that you'll be doing for Youth and Family Services, and we're really blessed to have you doing that.
Thank you, Muriel. Thank you.
All right, I will entertain a motion.
So
By the way, a master's in math, too.
Oh, yeah,
That's ridiculous.
I really just like going to school, so.
It's just ridiculous. It's just too much.
I like to know as much as I can know.
So I move to confirm the town manager's appointment of Holly Moran as a resource counselor case manager in the Youth and Family Services Department.
Second.
By roll call vote, Irfan?
Irfan Nasrullah, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Amy Rodebush, yes?
Muriel Kramer, yes. Thank you very much. So we force you to have a little picture with us all in celebration.
Oh, it's a point.
Should we have them up here?
We could come back here. We could stand, no, we can't. There, we'll have to move the table.
We could stand over here. We can move the chairs. Stand over here.
Yes, stand by the
Quilt.
In front of the quilt, it'll be iconic. How does this work? Come on. Everybody in. Come on, Elaine. And actually,
Let's have people in the middle, too.
Oh, okay. All right, so you're in the middle.
Welcome.
My son's like, can I be in the picture?
yes. You know, come on. That's right. That's right.
There goes the quilt. That's what happens when you're tall.
Sorry.
Just turn sideways.
Oh, I can do that.
Did everyone look at this camera first? Okay, and then this gentleman's taking some pictures.
Holly's husband.
That's my husband, yeah.
She's taking it for the paper.
What's that?
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Just one more, so that Josh can send it out. Okay, big smile. Great.
I think we need one with the kids, though. I think there's a special request. They want.
Oh, yeah, the kids wanted to be in the picture. Do you guys want to come up?
Come on.
My babies.
This is wonderful. This is wonderful.
I bet everyone's watching. Oh, look at this.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, just one more. Just one more. Hey, congratulations. Incredible for us. I hope it's incredible for you. It's incredible.
Everyone who watches this meeting will see. Hey, move. Okay, you gotta watch out. I know, I'm trying.
Not even to left. Okay. I was just going to meet you.
So our next order of business is going to be appointments to boards and committees. For the Board of Registrars, there's one vacancy for a Republican candidate with a term ending on February 1st, 2025. And we have two nominees, Ken Wisemantel and James Mirabile. I thought we had more spaces than one.
Well, there was a question, maybe Connor can explain. One person was not really a Republican, right?
Not really.
That is accurate. One person was not a Republican. We asked town council to give an opinion based on the law. They went back and forth with the elections division. It was decided that the appointment still stands because they were in fact nominated by the Republican town committee, and the appointment went through.
Okay,
So,
we're all sworn in.
Yep, so this is just the one remaining Republican seat that is because Veda Kerr is moving, and so we're just filling that vacancy.
Great. Do we know if either one of these candidates wants it sort of more than I know they're long-serving volunteers. I don't know if.
I've not heard any preference. I don't know if, Norman, if you've heard anything.
No, I've not heard anything.
Oh, great.
No?
What could go wrong?
Yeah, I just talked to Jim
Yeah.
like yesterday too, and
I'm sure
he didn't
both
mention
are-
if there was
both are
any
very-
preference.
And he didn't state a preference. Oh.
No preference?
I didn't, not that he said to me at least.
All right. Well, both invested, smart folks with lots of experience in town, so can't go wrong.
I think I would, you want me to?
Sure, make a motion.
Okay, so I would move to appoint Ken Wisemantel to the Board of Registrars to a term expiring February 2nd, 2020.
February
1st, 2025.
Is there a second? I'm happy to second it. Are there any other discussion or? Go ahead, Irfan.
No, sorry. I was on mute.
Yeah.
I was just saying I would second that. So.
Okay. Then by roll call vote, we'll start with you, Irfan.
Irfan Nasrullah, yes.
Mary Jo?
Mary Jo Lafreniere, no.
Amy Roderbush, yes.
Muriel Kramer, yes. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Volunteer recognition is up next.
Anybody want to say anything?
Hold on, I'm waiting to see if there's discussion happening over here.
Yes, for Parks, there's two. But
There's two.
you want Parks and Rec to go first?
Yeah, Parks and Rec can go first. Come on down.
So I'm Dan Terry, I'm Chair of the Parks and Rec Commission, and tonight we would like to recognize Kathy here, who's been a long-term volunteer for our ski program. It's a very, very popular program. I know for this year it's sold out, and we have a wait list that is, unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to serve everyone, but it's such a popular program, and it's very difficult to run because there's a lot of coordination in order to do this. As you know, we have limited staff in Parks and Rec. Colleen is here, Colleen Allen, as a representative from the Parks and Rec department, because she's very involved in this program and doing a lot of it, but we could not run this program without the work that the volunteers do. And Kathy's been a volunteer for a long time. Colleen, I don't know if you want to say a couple things about the help that Kathy's provided.
Yeah, I just want to say that I hope the kids in Hopkinton and the families appreciate the work that Kathy has done. I mean, I haven't crunched the numbers, but I think, you know, she has given thousands of kids the opportunity to go and ski, and always with a smile. And she was the one who would hop on the 8th grade bus with the boys.
With a smile. Oh.
Yeah, and you know, I just think that I can't say thank you enough for all that you have done.
I also want to add that while I believe Kathy started as a volunteer when her kids were in the program, she continued long after that. So she I don't know if she felt like she realized that we really needed her, or if she was just that dedicated. But we certainly appreciate anyone that puts forth this kind of effort and has this kind of commitment to make these programs such a success. So thank you.
Indeed, thank you very much. As a parent volunteer in years gone by, I know exactly how boisterous and fun and busy and probably stressful it all is, and it's a really wonderful opportunity for our kids. And I think it's an incredible example of the ways that individuals in town quietly, right? Not everybody knows about your contribution until tonight over the years. The ways that so many people make so many things available to our kids and to our town, and we really appreciate each and every one of those efforts because it's extraordinary. But we really appreciate you especially tonight, and thank you for continuing, unlike me, long after your kids had left. Thank you very much. Anybody else on the board?
I just want to say, my kids did the ski program a long time ago too, and I remember it was so much coordination from we were getting emails all the time about the rules, and then the weather might change and the bus couldn't go, and it was just so much. You have to be on the ball and communicating constantly, and it really is, it's a lot of work, and I think all the other parents really appreciated the volunteers that stepped up.
I imagine it's more difficult now, too. I had kids in the ski program, and they used to go to a place called Klein Innsbruck, and then there was a Jericho in Marlboro, and there were all kinds of these little ski that are no longer there. I don't know if it's global warming or what, but they're gone. So there's nothing really close that the kids can go to anymore. Maybe Ward Hill is still there, I don't know. But it does take a lot of work and a lot of coordination, more now than ever.
So I just want to read the nomination. Over the years, Kathy has made our ski program what it is today. Not just a program that teaches kids how to ski, but also a program that instills in our participants independence, conflict resolution, acceptance of others, and being accountable for their own actions. Kathy has made the Parks and Recreation Ski Club a life lessons program with a little skiing. Kathy's selfless dedication to this program has created a positive impact on the children and their families of our town. Because of her, Hopkinton families have experienced the exhilaration of skiing in New England, the benefits of exercise, especially outdoors in the winter, and the joy of spending quality family time together. This year, Kathy has stepped down from her role as the coordinator extraordinaire, but not without paving the way for another new leader. She will be missed immensely by our department, other volunteers, and especially the Hopkinton Ski Club kids. We can't thank her enough for her service to the town and wish her and her family the best there is. So. Did somebody want to say something? A picture? Well, yeah, we'll definitely do a picture. Also, you have this very incredible, one-of-a-kind proclamations from the Hopkinton Select Board. We hereby recognize Kathy Gooley for having contributed significantly to Hopkinton's quality of life through your volunteer efforts, as recognized by the Select Board, and is therefore awarded this certificate of appreciation given this 7th day of November 2023, signed by Muriel Kramer, Chair, Amy Ritterbusch, Select Board Member, and Mary Jo Lafreniere, Select Board Member. And we can get the other two signatures. Our two board members are not feeling well, and make sure you get this fully signed. Or you can take it tonight, but we're happy to get it signed fully for you. Thank you again. We should take a picture. You want to go under the quilt again? Watch your head. Come on, everybody, and Dan, you too. Come on. You too. You're looking great, by the way, and it's good to see you looking so well. Good. Very great to see you. We're not done. Keep going, Dan. I don't know. Okay.
Right. Now, other volunteers, quick.
Yeah, that's good. So the other volunteers were so appreciative of Kathy's work. Thank you. You guys.
Oh, come on, let's get on with you guys.
So these guys are taking over.
Yay! The new volunteers extraordinary.
Congratulations. Assistant assessor.
What's that?
Yeah, Steve is here. For me, now works for Steve.
He's stepping in.
Here we go. All in. Come, where are you going? No. It's not like, this is not your meeting, Dan.
Need to know what make Hopkinton news.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you. By the way, thank you all, truly. These programs are so important. We so appreciate you.
Yeah, I'll try to see him here. Back up.
Do we have our other person or? No, okay.
Amy's here to speak.
I'm here to Yay! Welcome, Amy, yes.
I'm Amy Beck, the Director of Senior Services, and we have been wanting to honor one of our long-standing volunteers, Jack Palich. He has, since he moved into town over 30 years ago, he has been an incredible assistance not only to the Senior Center, but to any number of other committees around the town. And as I think the biggest thing that we can say is Jack is a jack of all trades. He does anything and everything that's needed at the senior center. He will come in, set clocks, he will just see something that needs to be done, and he does it. And I have to say, I don't think the senior center would be the same without Jack there. Many of you know Jack, and he is just an incredibly, very humble individual, which is why he's not here tonight, because he just does it behind the scenes. But to not recognize someone who gives so much, he's an incredible asset to the Friends of Hopkinton in their fundraising efforts. He, every weekend pretty much, is at the recycling center, pulling out cans and bottles for recycling, and has raised over the years between $75,000 and $100,000 for the Friends of Hopkinton seniors, which helps all the programs that we do at the senior center. I don't think I could go on forever. I wrote an extremely lengthy recommendation, and it really hits everything he does for us.
So let me read that, because I think it's important for people to know. We really appreciate Jack Palich has served in many volunteer capacities throughout Hopkinton for over 30 years. Not long after he and his wife Phyllis moved to Hopkinton, he started his involvement with the Senior Center as a participant, as a volunteer running programs on the Senior Center Building Committee, and as a COA board member, to name just a few. However, Jack's involvement was not limited to the Senior Center alone. During this time, he also served on the Hopkinton Public Library for about 13 years and has worked at town elections. At 95, Jack continues to volunteer at the Senior Center and is always looking to help in any way he can. Prior to 2001, Jack started raising money for the Friends of Hopkinton Seniors, collecting redeemable cans and bottles for recycling. Jack once told me that since he began keeping records, he estimates that he, along with a great crew of volunteers, have raised about $75,000 for the Friends of the Hopkinton Seniors. It has been suggested that that figure is probably closer to $100,000 since they only began to record the recycling information in 2001. These funds help support many programs during the early days of the Senior Center and continue to be a great source of income for the Friends. When plans to build the current Senior Center on Mayhew initially began, Jack was one of the first to jump on board as a member of the building committee. The committee volunteers spent countless hours working to create, revise, and revamp a building design that would meet the needs of Hopkinton seniors for many years to come. Over the years, our Senior Center has come to rely on Jack's silent and steadfast devotion to making our community welcoming and inclusive. He is someone who sees something that needs to be done and does it, oftentimes without even having to be asked. Almost daily, Jack can be seen around the Senior Center, sorting, cleaning, and organizing the redeemable bottles for the Friends. When he isn't busy doing that, you might find him repairing our wall clock, changing out a lamp light bulb, helping to refurbish donated wheelchairs and rollators, and everything in between. Jack has never met a challenge to fix something he wasn't at least willing to attempt. While the Senior Center has any number of volunteers who should be recognized as having served Hopkinton, Jack is truly a jack of all trades, being competent in any of the number of areas and helping in every way he can to improve things. The Senior Center and Hopkinton were truly lucky the day Jack and his wife moved to town. So incredible. It seems a thank you is way overdue.
Definitely.
But it's incredible how much one person's constant, continuous investment over time can really make a huge difference for the seniors, for the town. And I hope that it's also sort of been reciprocally wonderful for him, too. I assume it's been wonderful for him.
I hope so. I mean, he gives so much, and I am always excited. We recently had a Spirit Week, and Jack dressed up for it. And Jack was, it was, I forget which day it was, but it was wonderful to see him take part in all of that as well as everything else that we do. He's been a big part even in our repair fair, which we've done, which did earn us recognition, but we're excited that he has been active in that as well.
Anybody else want to say something?
Yeah, after I came to town, it's a very distinctive name, and I remember his wife's name too. That Jack At first, I didn't know how to pronounce it, so I had to learn. But he has been involved in so many different things. I mean, I've seen it in print everywhere, in programs, in senior newsletters, in just on HCAM. Jack has been involved, extremely heavily involved in all activities of the town. And I appreciate it very much. And being a senior myself and going to the senior center, I do appreciate Jack's involvement there too. So I'm really thankful that we have him in town still.
I don't know him, but I just really appreciated hearing about all his work, and I definitely contribute my bottles and cans to them at the recycle center every week.
Well, we appreciate that too. So.
No, but it was really nice to hear about all the things he's done and how long he's been helping at the senior center. Thank you.
Irfan?
Oh, he's sorry. He's
maybe gone.
Oh, he may not be there. He's struggling with a sick child. We do have a proclamation. The Town of Hopkinton Select Board hereby recognize Jack Palich for having contributed significantly to Hopkinton's quality of life through his volunteer efforts as recognized by the Select Board, and is therefore awarded this certificate of appreciation given the 7th day of November 2023. Amy Ritterbush, Select Board member, and Mary Jo Lafreniere, Select Board member, and we will get the other 2 signatures when people are not contagious, and make sure we get the certificates to you.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for bringing that forward for us. Now, our next item of business is the 2024 Boston Marathon Invitational Entry Policy.
Okay, and I'm just looking at this, and I can see why people were confused, because in the agenda it does say process adopted by the board. So I can
review and what does it say?
Well, right here it says adopted by the board on November 7th. So
but it says in the agenda that we will review.
Right, but I can see why the public was confused. Maybe we should write draft on it next time until we officially adopt it.
Okay. So who wants to start? Did you want to explain how this came about, or?
Yes. The town of Hopkinton has a marathon policy. The marathon policy requires the select board to set a sub-policy each year for the running of the Boston Marathon. And the policy focuses, or I should say the sub-policy focuses on the distribution of the invitational entries. Over the years, the board has answered the following questions. 1, what are the organizations that will receive the invitational entries? 2, will any town departments receive invitational entries directly? And then 3, for the organizations that are conducting fundraising, the board does set a guideline for the funds to be raised. Each year, we do receive from the BAA an indication on the value, the face value of the invitational entry. In the years that I've worked with the board on setting this sub-policy, the board has always gone with a number that is lower than the face or market value that is set by the BAA. And I don't see any reason why this year should be an exception. So when you see the 12,000, it is not stating what the board will set as the target for fundraising, but rather simply indicating the face value. And again, as I've said, based on past practice, different agencies, including the select board here in Hopkinton, do set a number that is different or lower than what is specified by the BAA as, again, the face value of the entry.
Okay, so they say that the face value is $12,000.
Yes. But doesn't mean that that's what the board uses, doesn't mean that's what the BAA uses, doesn't mean that's what other nonprofits use.
What do the BAA use for numbers when they sell them to the runners?
On their website, it says 5,000.
5,000.
All right. Shall we start with questions?
Sure. Like, so I guess I would be in favor of a lower amount, especially if other organizations are only requiring 5,000. I agree, it does put people groups as a disadvantage if they're asking for more. But I do understand that over time, we might want to increase it because we have a high demand for numbers.
Right.
And inflation and all that.
Any other questions?
No, I would like to see a lower number, not just because I'd like to see the charities in town earn as much as they can, but I don't see us getting a full slate of runners at that price. Usually we get runners who didn't run other races or didn't qualify or had problems getting numbers from the BAA that really want to run the race. And a lot of them we want to encourage them to run the race. And we want to encourage them to raise the money for our charities. But $12,000, a lot of them can't. And I know 9 or 10 runners last year couldn't make the $5,000. They made something else or nothing, which one of the committees wound up with. And that just tells me that a lot of the runners that want to volunteer, we want the town's runners to volunteer. We want other local people to volunteer, and I think if we up it so high, we're just not going to get the runs we want. That's my opinion.
Irfan, are you back? Okay.
Yeah, one other comment.
Sure, go ahead.
But do you want to divide it up? But
Can I ask a question, though, about, so we set the minimum fundraising target. There's actually no teeth in that, is there? I mean, we don't track them down. We don't take a credit card number. I mean, I have done these things, and I pay at the end of the fundraising thing if I haven't done all the fundraising. But there's no. I mean, maybe the individual charities might have imposed their own conditions whereby they.
I think the library has usually asked for more per runner when they were trying to get the money to build the new building.
Oh, so individual charities can set a higher amount if they want to. Is that right?
Really?
If they so decide, again, on the town side, it's a guideline.
Yeah.
In the years I've been with the town, the entities or organizations' ability to fundraise has never affected their future ability to secure an invitational entry.
Yeah. Okay, I gotcha. So even if we find out that an organization's runner didn't come through with the minimum, they're still eligible to apply in the future for a runner. Okay, all right. So I'm very amenable to setting a lower minimum, just because it doesn't mean that the runners can't raise more for the organizations.
Well, the organizations could.
And I certainly don't want to limit organizations' abilities to attract runners to do the fundraising. So has it always been, for a while, it's been 5,000?
I can check that quickly.
Okay.
It was last year. It didn't.
Yeah, it was 5.
I remember it was 4 one year.
Of some past years it may have been 3,000, but I'll tell you very quickly.
Okay.
Any other questions as we're looking this up?
Well, about the random draw or not, and I think I was outvoted last year, and that's fine. But if we have more applicants than we have if we have fewer applicants than we have numbers, I'm totally fine with the random draw. But I didn't like when we had more applicants than numbers that we did a random draw rather than choosing.
How would you choose?
Okay, hold on one second. Explain that for me one more time.
Yeah, I got it.
So last year, we had more than 50 applicants.
Okay.
Okay, and so then we just drew names out of the hat for the 3 who did not get a number.
Right.
And I was not as comfortable with that. I thought I would rather that we picked instead of random draw. But I think I was outvoted, and it's fine if I'm outvoted.
Okay, so
This year.
I guess I misunderstood. So if we have fewer applicants than we have,
Everybody gets one.
everyone gets it, so we don't have to do any, we don't have to have a process even,
Well,
right?
someone might get 2, so we might do a random draw for,
I
random
gotcha.
draw for who gets the second.
I got you. Okay. So,
But in recent years, we've had more applicants than we had bids.
okay.
But we never know.
We did ask, what do we have, 3 more last year than we had numbers for? We did ask the BAA, and they
got them, right.
they came forward with 3 more numbers. So,
Wonderful of them to do.
yes, and I think we could do that maybe when we get the applications. If we have more applications than we have slots, then we can ask ahead of time, I guess, for extra.
So the questions are, town boards and departments and committees. They've always gotten them that serve functions for the support of the marathon. We've always had that, right? Mm-hmm. Without receiving pay, right?
Right.
All right, so we're comfortable with that.
Right.
Yep.
All right, by consensus, we're comfortable with that. Okay. And then registered 501c3 nonprofit organizations that undertake public service activities within the town of Hopkinton, we're comfortable with that.
I'm comfortable with that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So by consensus, we're comfortable with that. So I'm not so comfortable picking because I don't know how we choose. I actually appreciate the random draw because if we have too few, I want to make sure that as many different entities as possible get it and without sort of our imposed biases on it. One thing that we've encountered, though, is that an organization like the Friends of the Library and the Library, or the Friends of the Seniors and the Seniors, so there are different ways of getting funds to sort of this
We did find
similar.
some get more than one number.
Have we solved for that so that we make sure we spread out the awards as much as possible?
Yes, if I heard the question, there may be instances where, for example, the town department that is related to a non-profit that works in the same line of work.
Yeah.
What are applying for entries. What we have done is, depending on the number of entries available, they can both, if we have enough entries, they both have an equal opportunity to get a number. However, when we have had more applicants from the non-town departments for invitational entries, our desire to make sure that everybody applying for a number gets a number, we then turn to the town department and say, since your sister non-profit organization is receiving a number, we ask you not to ask the number.
Yep. Okay. That's what I think that has happened in the past.
Like the tax relief committee could really use a number, you know, they're
But if we do random, they might not.
but they're not a 501c3, but they're definitely, they're a town department, no?
Do they apply as a town department as tax relief? Or they would
We-
declare
They've had a runner in the past. They've given it to them, but they're,
I think we've qualified them for some reason. Doesn't come out now, but we've qualified them as a town.
right.
as a town department?
Yes.
Yeah.
But they don't provide marathon.
All right. So let's, right. Are we comfortable with, I know, Amy, you're not, so it's really a question for you, Mary Jo. Are you more comfortable with the random draw or the selection?
Kind of depends on how we do the random draw. Like we said, some people actually got 4 numbers because they're associated with different organizations. And I really think it should be one one number per organization. I think somehow we have to look at that and figure out how some people are getting so many numbers.
So we do want to spread the numbers.
Yes.
You want to look back at last year?
Who got 4? I don't even.
We did come out and talk about it, but I can't remember who it was exactly.
I think what Mary Jo is referring to is that different town entities use different avenues
Yes.
Yeah.
to request invitational entries. My advice to the community has been that, one, the town has no control over the numbers that are issued by other entities. And therefore, putting some rule around if you get a number from the town, don't get a number from somewhere else
Right.
would not be advisable. Which brings me to my second point. Second point being that most organizations really rely on invitational entries
Right.
for their viability.
Yes.
So if they are successful fundraising in that regard, I think we should celebrate that rather than
Oh, yeah.
Rather-
A lot of money.
making that a disadvantage. So my advice to the board is, I think the board should just focus on the invitational entries that we have.
Yes. I thought you meant that we had delivered 4 to a particular organization.
Yeah, oftentimes like the library got 2 one way and 2 another way.
organizations,
Yeah.
Yes, in prior years, when we had fewer organizations applying, but perhaps this is the appropriate moment to say this. This year, Hopkinton will be receiving 65 invitational entries.
We have a lot of entries.
Yes.
So how many altogether?
65.
65. We had 55 last year, so we're getting 10
How
more.
many did we have last year?
I want to say
55.
53 or something.
Yeah, so that's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you to the,
So grateful.
Well, that actually might solve the whole
Yeah.
problem if everyone can hopefully for sure get one with that.
yeah. Okay, so I'm back to random draw if there has to be a draw, or selection if there has to be. I'm a random draw person. Amy's a selection person. And Mary Jo, I'm sorry to say you are the deciding vote. Unless everyone comes back.
If I may, in fact, when the town receives invitational entries from the BAA, there are conditions that are set by the BAA. In past years, the BAA has required that the distribution be random.
Oh, okay.
So it's random.
But I have not seen the requirements for this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that's the requirement, then it's random, then yeah.
Okay, so we'll go random, even if they don't specify? We're assuming they will specify? How do you feel, Mary Jo?
I think we can go random.
Okay.
With 65 now.
All right, let me just say that the form that's in our packet has a footnote at the bottom that notes the $5,000. So depending on what we vote tonight, we'd have to update the form.
Yes.
And for the public, the application period goes live on Monday, November 13th. Is that what it says in our packet?
It's live tomorrow. Let me check.
Yeah,
Yes, whilst we're waiting for that, I wanted to confirm, back in 2014, the fundraising target was 4,000.
Okay.
2014 was 4,000. 2014?
Yes.
Okay, and it's been 5,000 for 8 years. Okay. So I will just posit that I am comfortable raising the minimum suggested, right? It's a suggested minimum. We request that organizations who apply commit to raising a minimum of 5,000. So I'm amenable to raising it to 6,000 just because it's been a decade, but
I'll go with 6. I won't go any higher than 6, but I go with 6.
How do you feel, Amy?
It's funny, I was leaning towards, after seeing on the BAA website that it was 5,000, keeping it at that. But as long as it is suggested, could we just add that word?
So it does say apply. We are asking organizations who apply to commit to raising a minimum of $5,000. I'm okay leaving it at $5,000 too if you feel strongly.
I don't feel strongly because I do feel with inflation and over time, you know, that the amounts should go up, but I could go either way. I was ready to leave it at 5,000, but
just going to ask, is our fund back?
Yeah. Do you have a preference, Mary Jo? 5,000 or 6?
I'm okay with 6.
Okay.
I'm going with 6.
You know, it's a really incredible opportunity to participate in this event.
Okay. And it's, and again, we're saying out loud that it is suggested that if they can't raise quite that amount.
Well, we are saying, what it's printed on the form, I want to just make sure I say, is that we request that organizations who apply commit to raising a minimum of, it would be $6,000. But we don't go back and penalize anybody.
Okay.
Which I appreciate.
So we won't go back and penalize if they're not able to reach that amount.
Yeah. I just want to make sure we're communicating exactly what it says. So we'd love people to raise that $6,000 for those organizations. That's all to the good. Okay. Is there a question or a concern?
No concern.
Okay. All right. Do you need a particular vote?
So on number 10, though, I'm noticing it says Fund is back. Is the number of invitational entries received for 2022 from all sources other than Hopkinton? We were just saying we can't control other sources. So do we want to ask that question still?
Just for transparency.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you want to ask Irfan?
Oh, Irfan. We discussed making it a random draw, and that was that passed by consensus, although Amy feels differently, so please speak up if you feel...
Then we would tie, so
well, that is how that goes. We discussed raising the minimum to $6,000 that we ask organizations to have their runners commit to. What had been suggested in the paperwork was 12. What has been for 9 years is 5. The BAA does 5. And we, just so you know, we are getting 65 bibs this year, which is substantially more than we have gotten in previous years and more than last year. So do you have some strong feelings on any of those things?
No, so I'm in favor of the random selection.
Okay.
And I'm comfortable with 6.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we would move the 2024 Boston Marathon Invitational Entry Program policy as amended.
Second.
Let's make that can be the motion. Okay. Irfan, how do you vote?
Irfan Nasrullah, yes.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I was checking on the date.
Yes.
Applications will go out.
Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
Right.
He said tomorrow.
He's checking on whether it's tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Because it does say in the policy that.
Oh, okay. So
it does say in the policy what?
That it's Monday.
That's what I thought. I read it somewhere.
Go and open it. Yeah.
Checking the date.
So as we amended it to $6,000, are we amending the date that it opens?
Yes, we can go with the 9th.
The 9th, which is 2 days from now, right? Thursday the 9th. And is it open for a period of time or?
Yes, the closing date will be.
It says Monday the 27th. Is that still?
Yes. Yeah,
okay. November 9th to November 27th is the period that the applications can be received by the town. Okay, Irfan, is your vote still yes?
Yes.
Okay. Mary Jo?
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Amy Ritterbush, yes.
Muriel Kramer, yes. Okay. So the next item of business is annual town meeting, May 6th, the first Monday in May. Take us away, Mr. Khumalo.
Yes, what we are looking for is simply to ask that the board start thinking of any articles that you would like us to review for consideration at the annual town meeting next May. Not looking for a discussion today, but again to invite you to let us know in the office what you'd like us to put on the town meeting docket.
Okay.
All right. Well, we didn't need 10 minutes for that. So look at us all zipping through the agenda. All right, special town meeting. The board will review the November 13th special town meeting motions and take any related actions. The select board will consider its presentations and materials. Okay.
Back to the annual town meeting, just the all-hands meeting, did we set a date for that, right?
We did.
It's the 29th.
29th.
29th at 6 p.m. and it'll be available by Zoom as well?
Yes, for the most part, we are saying.
I have that on my calendar.
Yeah, which will be a virtual meeting. However, if people want to come to town hall, that will be fine. We can.
In many ways, it's easier on the Zoom, isn't it? With such a big group, yeah. Okay, so it's also available to the public that way too, so.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Amy, for that reminder. Okay, so special town meeting is Monday, November 13th. It begins at 7. We expect a large attendance, so please plan to arrive early so that you get through the line and registered. For folks who have not been to town meeting or a special town meeting before, there are check-in stations. It's very efficient, but you have to check in and be issued your voting mechanism.
And you're passing
And your pass, right, in case if the pass is the fail-safe. It used to be a pass voting system, but a piece of colored paper, your clicker, get into your seat. We expect to have overflow locations as well, and we'll have moderators or deputy town moderators in each of the voting locations. But at the beginning of the town meeting, there will be an instructional session and a practice session with this new mode of voting. So as much as possible, we are encouraging people who are interested. The school vote is the first vote. The vote will not come up for some time. That's not the concern. But to get instructions and to get into your seat and to be settled and also to practice with the new methodology of voting, it would be really advantageous if people get their early and registered and in by 7 o'clock. So my little public service announcement. Parking will be, if it's a large turnout as we expect, parking will be a challenge. Traffic will be a challenge. Think of all those things. Carpool if you can.
If you can.
Walk if you can. It's a long walk for me, shorter walk for Amy. And also a friendly reminder that the special town election will be the 28th. Yes, the 28th, and that is a Tuesday. Is that correct? Tuesday, the 28th. The polls are open at the middle school again from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Let me tell you from my own personal experience, it is very easy to forget because it's an off-time election. It's very easy to forget that day. So mark it on your calendar now so you don't. I did that just earlier tonight because I actually campaigned for a big issue 20 years ago and forgot to go vote. So it happens.
And you can do absentee balloting.
Yes, that's right. You can absentee ballot or early vote as well, probably.
Connor's not here.
But Connor's not here. Anyway, find out if you need that. If you need that flexibility, make sure you ask the town clerk. Okay. So we've done our public service announcement for it. What else do we need to talk about? Each of the motions, Mr. Khumalo?
I believe the board has taken a position already on Article 1.
Well, I think we voted to put it on the warrant, right?
Actually, it doesn't even say it needs our.
Yeah, it does. Yes, yeah, it does not need the select board recommendation. However,
I thought we had voted for it already, but.
Well, I don't know what we did. I don't know what the vote was.
Yeah. However, I think the board should be prepared that people may ask.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. You think? Okay. And the total in the motion is $157,342,394, and the total MSBA reimbursement is now in the area of $67 million. Is that? Am I right?
Almost there. I'll bring.
Yep.
I have it.
I think it was in my email, but I don't have that. So while Mr. Khumalo is looking for that information, another public service announcement, there is a elementary school building committee forum going on as we speak. These forums are available to access online to watch afterwards if you didn't get a chance to go. There is a appropriations committee packet that details out the financial implications and information. I encourage everybody to get as informed as they can in advance of town meeting, but there will be presentations about the Appropriations Committee, for example, will make a small presentation. Say it again?
That's why I'm going to look for the exact dollar amount, because like it keeps changing, but I know they had it for the MSBA. Okay, so authorize the borrowing 157.
Yes.
The town's expense after the reimbursements is 90.6 million.
Yeah, in fact, it's 90,605,990. And the average homeowner peak year tax impact, 952.
And how long is the borrowing?
30 years.
Yeah, 30 years. We looked at the projection based on 30 years.
And there's a ramp up. How many, how long is it at the peak and then there's a down?
How long is at the peak?
I can tell you in this report it says, it doesn't say exactly when it drops off. It says the peak is in 2028, and then by 2040 it drops to 726. By 2050 it drops to 538. But that's not exact years.
Yeah.
Perhaps we could use those timelines as the troughs, the different troughs.
All right, so the peak tax impact year is 952. That's in 2028. And just to give you a picture, 12 years later, it would have dropped to 726 per year. So that doesn't give you the complete picture, but it gives you a snapshot. But that information is available online on the town's website. People can get fully informed before they arrive at town meeting. So.
Yeah, for the detailed financials, that Appropriations Committee report, I think, is the best to look at.
Yep.
Financial details.
Yes.
Okay, and go ahead, Mr. Khumalo.
Yeah, I was actually going to put in a word for the Appropriations Committee.
Yes.
Normally, the Appropriations Committee would not do a report for a special town meeting. They did that in this case.
So, I'm sorry, say it again. Normally, they would not do a report for a special town meeting because, but they did because it's such a big impact vote. Well, we really appreciate them because it's a lot of work to do what they do. So, wonderful. Okay. Are we ready to move on to the second article? Is the citizens petition to eliminate political caucuses and local election ballots would no longer have the printed political affiliations for town elected officers. And I don't have any questions with the motion or the article. I'm very sure that the citizens who led this effort are prepared to speak. Is that right? Okay. So does anybody have any questions or anything about that one? No. All right.
That one's a simple majority, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, so the first vote, the money vote, by the way, for the school, thank you, Amy, is a 2/3 majority vote. The ballot vote for the same article is a simple majority. The Article 2, to eliminate the political caucuses, that is a simple majority at town meeting. And then Article 3 is the adopt the municipal opt-in specialized stretch energy code. That is also a simple majority. Do we have any questions or concerns about that?
No, I sat down with the committee and got all my questions answered. So.
Yeah. Again, an opportunity to also commend the efforts by the Sustainable Green Committee. They have held workshops, forum, and have set up good information repository on the town website. So if anybody has any questions and would like to see more details on this, they should visit the Hopkinton Sustainable Green webpage on the town website.
Okay. And then the fourth article on special town meeting is an article to raise and appropriate the amount of $2,985,000 to purchase land in the vicinity of Town Hall. The assessor's map parcel markings are available in the motion for the purposes of municipal parking, generally behind Bill's Pizza to Claflin. Well, what is it?
Claflin and Walcott.
Claflin, yeah, Claflin and Walcott on either side, right? And there is a rendering. It's not an official plan. There's a rendering that is available for folks to see. There would be the exits and entrances that we know, that we use today, an exit and entrance from Walcott, and also an exit and entrance from Claflin Street. And it would take our municipal parking, the existing spaces on the site is 66. The proposed spaces shown is 123, so for a total space number of spaces in the proposed parking lot, all of it is subject to planning and so forth, it would be 189. So it is an opportunity to provide municipal parking to support town businesses and also municipal uses in the surrounding area. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or want to make comments on it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we are going to be putting bigger parking spaces for van parking, and probably handicapped van parking will also be added.
Yeah, these are not on our rendering, but they...
No, they're not on our rendering because I guess we don't know where we're going to put them yet, but we will be doing them.
I think part of what I understood from Mr. Khumalo too is that in order to enable better accessibility, for example, like at the Common for events and so forth, we might lose some of the parking that we thought we would have around the Common, but this parking lot would add parking spaces that would make that much more possible, enable that action. So hopefully we'd have much greater accessibility in various areas that are important to folks.
And this would be on the north side of the street where we already have a new accessible lot on the south side of the street.
Yes.
23. So we park here and access all the businesses pretty easily on the north side.
Yep.
Right, and then ideally people could park once and they could go to the bank, they could go to Bill's Pizza, they could go to the library without having to keep moving their car.
Yes, so it is nearly $3 million just for people working with big numbers. It is a 2/3 vote at the town meeting vote. It does not require a ballot vote because, Mr. Khumalo?
The intention is to fund this request through free cash.
Okay, so that's why this will not be on the special town election, so it only requires the special town meeting vote to be successful, 2/3 vote.
And then I did have some questions from the community about the Permanent Building Committee did a presentation recently that didn't incorporate this parking lot because they had been working on theirs before this plan had really been fleshed out. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, we were still in negotiations with the abutting property owners, and because of executive session limitations, we did not transfer that information to the Permanent Building Committee.
So they might be updating their slides at a later date?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, particularly if this passes.
Yeah.
Right?
And then the 6th bulk building that we have would still stay in place because Parks and Rec still needs that for now. But the parking lot area at 6 Walcott would be included in this project, would be paved and would be accessible. So we could access, it's the other exit point from this new lot.
Yes, that is correct. Park and Recs is currently using the building at 6 Walcott. However, as part of this proposal, will be we will be paving the existing parking area.
Right, which is pretty rough right now, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. All right. If people have questions, please check out the town website or send your questions in. Irfan, did you have any questions or comments?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Two-thirds because it's a land purchase?
It's because it's money, right? That's all right. It's an appropriation, right? Is that what?
Purchase land.
To purchase.
To purchase land, okay. Okay, so then we need a motion to recommend approval of Article 4, which is the parking, what we were just speaking of, purchasing the land.
Okay. Second?
Okay, so Irfan, by roll call vote?
Irfan Azuli, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes?
Amy Ritterbush, yes.
Muriel Kramer, yes. Okay, so thank you very much.
So we did annual town meeting, special town meeting.
Propose the next, I think we're on to the proposed changes to the marathon fund request form. I just tried to sort of neaten it up and add an opportunity for supporting information or estimates, whatever they have that they've used to make their decision. And then I think that we might want to add just a statement at the bottom that that there has to be some compliance with mass procurement laws, which would be the case no matter what.
Okay. So we could ask town staff to figure out what that should say.
Is that right, Mr. Kamalo?
Yes, it is correct.
Okay. All right.
Well, I'll be going to their meeting this week because I'm the liaison to that.
Okay.
Great.
So I will mention it.
I did change selectmen to select board. That was me.
Yeah. Will this be a Google Doc that they can type right into it rather than the handwriting? That we've been getting handwritten ones.
Yeah, in fact, I believe we've already converted it to a Google form.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Great. Perfect. And will you add a statement about Mass General procurement laws? Perfect. Anybody have any questions or concerns with the form? Is not very new. It's just neatened up and modernized.
I appreciate that, but it's great.
Okay. Great. The next item of business is the town manager's report.
Town manager's report.
I'm just going to say, by the way, we're 25 minutes ahead of schedule.
Don't say that.
I know.
It's gonna be a long report.
I can't help it. So, but it's all on you, Mr. Kamalo, if you mess it up. So,
I think I will miss.
I believe in you. Here we go.
Yes. Main Street Corridor Project included a report from Dave and Michelle. And I think at this point it's important to cover some of the questions that have come up around safety in general. We previously reported that we were working with Mass DOT and the contractor Amarello to make sure that the project site was safe for the oncoming winter. We have received very helpful information from members of the public regarding items that are now in our punch list. For example, there is wiring at the common that is still exposed. We have requested through Mass DOT that the contractor come back and make sure that the wiring is actually covered. There is also an ongoing conversation regarding the crosswalks, where we have the flashing beacon signs that are not fully executed and are maybe confusing to the public because the push buttons are exposed and people think that, hey, I can push the button and stop the cars. So we have asked Mass DOT to work with the contractor to make sure that those buttons are actually covered.
Covered so they won't be functional, or make the crosswalks functional?
Send the message to the pedestrians or anyone wanting to use the push button and that
Not working right
Yes,
now.
they are not working. The beacons are not working. They are not ready. They are not powered.
We're waiting for the undergrounding to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're involved with the whole undergrounding too. I gotcha.
It's, so the ones that are to the west side are working. It's the ones, and at the one at the main intersection, but the ones further to the east.
All right.
Also, there is the ongoing discussion with Eversource with regard to the transformers. We have not received any new information. I was on the phone yesterday with Peter Bowman, trying to see if there is another approach to at least getting some more precise information. So we'll continue to work with Eversource on that.
What is the date that we have heard? Have we had?
They will not commit to a date.
Okay.
They will not commit to a date. And they are citing supply chain issues.
I get a little disgruntled with them. This project's been going on for 3 years. They've had 3 years to figure out what to do with the transformers. So, they should have an answer for us
also,
now.
by the way, with the state, I mean, this is something that should have been teed up and ready. I know we had a pandemic, and I know supply chain issues and so forth, but the state should be working this hard. This is overall their responsibility to make sure the plane lands.
Well, I mean, I've worked on a state project at Dennison Crossing, and we put in an extra right on all 4 sides, and the utilities would not move the pole from the middle for a year and a half after the project was finished. So I have a problem with utilities more than the state right now.
Yeah, it is really
I share your frustration.
History isn't good, and they've known this was going to happen for 2 or 3 years now, and they haven't done it.
I should mention also for transparency, we are working with our legislative team to make sure that we are all speaking
same language.
Yes, exactly. Sending a strong message to Eversource that this needs to be prioritized.
I'm going to send them a strongly worded letter.
I was going to add to the Cookie Corner plaque, Norman told me it's not been reinstalled yet on the Doughboy, so if people were looking for it for Veterans Day, it's going to wait till after the final paving is done because it could be damaged.
Exactly, we're concerned it may get damaged.
Okay, thank you.
The other piece of good news is that Verizon has completed setting the poles.
Okay, one utility is on time.
Way behind. Yeah.
Do we have extra poles?
On the west side,
yes, I believe yes, not double poles.
Okay, do we have extra poles more than we need, or there are additional poles and that was all part of the plan?
No, I think overall we'll have less poles because
Well, eventually, the dream is that they'll be all underground. That's the dream, I know.
Right now, there are locations where there are 2 poles, and the wires need to be moved to the new one.
Yes.
The new ones are all set, so that's good.
Yeah. Right, and then the old poles,
once the wires are moved, could come down.
Could theoretically come down. Okay.
Yes, go away.
Great, that'd be, that all of this is the dream. Here we go.
Yes. And then PFAS, the construction of the filtration system is in progress. We're expecting the contractor to now move beyond setting the foundation. And then with regard to the MWRA Southborough Interconnection Project, we met with our counterparts from Southborough, identified some items to work through regarding the costing of the direct and indirect costs. We have also asked Tim O'Leary to join the discussions so that we could focus now on how much would this cost the community and what would it mean for the ratepayers.
And do we have an estimate about when we hope to have a cost estimate?
No, because right now we're still working on the 30% design. It will give us a rough estimate that we will begin socializing with the community.
And we're trying to get fee waivers for some of the parts for the connected to the MWRA.
Yes, we learned from our last meeting with the MWRA team that there's a process for applying for the waivers. There are other towns that will be applying for the same waivers. So our goal now is to get into the queue as sooner rather than later.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah. And then we also had the opportunity to sit down with Ken Wise-Mental. He's a water commissioner, to learn about the most recent applications, similar applications through the Water Resources Commission. And we learned some very helpful information that we are now building into our strategy. And then good news in terms of the municipal aggregation update, thanks to the works of Julia Chan, John Gelsich, and Dave Del Torio, we have identified a consultant that will work with the town in putting together the aggregation plan for the community. So my request to the board is that the chair would allow this issue to be on the agenda at your next meeting, and we'll invite public comment.
Yeah, great. It's great, but it is complicated, so it'd be good if they do a presentation and explain it to everyone.
Perfect. When is our next meeting?
We'll say December 5th.
December 5th. All right. Okay, any questions about the town manager report that we haven't already asked? Are you all set, Mr. Kamalo?
I think I'm all set.
Very nice, thank you. Okay, liaison reports and board invites.
It seems like we just met.
I'm trying to think here.
Can I make a plea for town meeting that for all of you who come to town meeting, I would like you to be respectful of all the articles. And we've had a problem with people making a lot of noise and getting up and leaving. There are only 4 articles, and my suggestion is that everybody who comes to town meeting stays at town meeting for the 4 articles. We really would appreciate that. Thank you.
Amy, did you have anything?
So we were all invited to the Veterans Day
That's
ceremony, which I think is Saturday.
It's actually the Veterans Day ceremony. It should be Saturday.
I think it is Saturday, even though it's not.
The dinner's
People get the day of work on
12th.
Friday, but
Right, 11:11 at 11:11.
Right.
that's correct. I can't find it.
And is it at the senior center? It has been in the past.
I just saw it, no, I don't see it.
So I saw the invitation. Definitely keep looking. Go ahead.
Oh, so it's the
12th.
The Veterans Dinner is the 12th.
Dinner is the
dinner is the
12th.
12th. Okay.
Yes, the Veterans Dinner is the 12th at St. John's this year, by the way.
Yeah.
And the doors open at 5:30. Dinner is served at 6. And please RSVP. If you're a vet, we'd love to see you at the dinner. I have already RSVP'd, by the way. I'm going to be going.
And the ceremony, though, is on the 11th.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do we have the do you have the details of the
I
ceremony?
didn't see that. It's not in the same email.
I didn't see it
I saw it on
either.
Facebook.
I went looking for it just before I came too. I won't tell you that my husband's on the Veterans Celebration Committee, and I should already know this, but
And they were looking for donations for desserts, I think, for the dinner.
yes, for the Veterans Dinner on the 12th at St. John's.
Okay, Veterans Day. All for desserts. It's about the dinner. Where's the schedule of events? There we go. Okay, Saturday, November 11th at the Senior Center at 11 a.m.
Is the Senior Center.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, 11:11 at 11:11. So if anybody would like to come and join in that remembrance, we'd love to see you.
And then on November 9th at Hopkins School, they're doing a ceremony for veterans, so veterans are welcome to attend at 9 a.m. So I don't think that's
Nice.
open necessarily to,
Yeah,
they're not expecting a big crowd, but all the veterans are welcome.
very nice.
This doesn't have anything to do with the veterans, but I have been aware of a situation, and so I just want to remind everybody that the It All Starts Here marathon logo was registered years ago with the state by the Hopkinton Marathon Committee, and it should not be used otherwise or without their permission. We're finding out-of-state people now want it. No, we're not going to have it. So that's, we have to protect our logo.
Okay.
So I just heard this week that the HPTO is going to be offering babysitting for a special town meeting.
Oh,
that's
okay.
I think we forgot to mention that.
I didn't know the details. Yes,
And you can just bring your kids, but you can sign up in advance, and that's helpful because they'll need to get everyone's name and check everybody in, so it'll be faster if people fill out the form online.
Okay, and that's going to be, I think, in the library?
In the high school library, or no, sorry, middle school library.
Middle school library. And another reason to arrive early, to get that whole thing organized and get yourself registered and into a town meeting room.
And the Commission on Disability has been working on a community survey that they're going to try to have ready at special town meeting to put on one of the tables. And then people, maybe when they're waiting for the meeting to start or quorum to be reached, they could fill it out online or on paper too.
Great.
No, we have to clear it with the moderator. I'm not sure we've done that, so we'll
Oh, way to play. Way to play. Okay. Anything else? Irfan, did you have anything? I think he's struggling with a sick baby.
I do not.
Okay. All right. The only thing I was going to suggest for future board agenda items is that we got a letter from Hop News about our advertising on news agencies. We probably ought to just put it on the agenda and talk about it.
We're looking into it administratively.
Okay.
See what we can find and then set it with the board. I think he later raises an interesting question regarding procurement.
Right. I agree. So we will look into that. Okay. That's all I had. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Irfan?
Irfan Rasooli, yes.
Mary Jo Lafreniere, yes.
Earl Kramer, yes. And we hope that Shahidul feels better soon. He's home very sick. So.
Well, before town meeting, for sure.
Oh, yeah, let's hope. Do we have anything to sign, Elaine?
Yeah. No, good time. No, we don't have to sign.